Welcome to the 109th GCN Tech Show.
This week we've got loads. A new helmet that promises to improve safety, new bikes, a ridiculously bling pair of carbon shoes, your upgrades, the bike vault, and
our weekly talking point, which is this week, do you even need a winter bike?
It's going to be good, this one.
Yeah.
This week we're chatting winter bikes. Do you really need one? Will you trash your best bike if you persist in riding it through dirty conditions and winter?
Well, I think one of the first things that we need to point out, Ollie, is that despite what any of you out there may have heard, here in the UK, the weather is actually pretty crap in the winter. I mean, it's often wet, isn't it? The roads are nearly always dirty, and if they're not wet and dirty, they're almost certainly covered in salt for the entirety of the winter months.
Yeah, we do appreciate though that many of our viewers are fortunate to live in places with much better climates than here in the UK. So if you're one of those lucky people that live in a nice place with good weather, then perhaps this becomes not a winter bike, but a bad weather day bike.
That makes sense. So how do you define a bad weather day bike? It's not very catchy, that, is it?
Yeah.
Well, normally it will be perhaps an older bike, maybe a bike that you had in the past that you've currently taken out of day-to-day service, or maybe it will be a cheaper bike, and it's often going to be that little bit heavier. And I think the theory behind that comes from, if it's got cheaper components on it, then they're going to be cheaper to replace because they're going to be wearing faster when you're riding in the bad weather. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Or if you crash, then it's cheaper to replace bits because the chance of falling off when it's wet and slippery is obviously increased.
Yeah, I think the ultimate winter/bad weather bike also has mud guards or fenders if you're American, and capacity for wider tyres as well. Yeah. At least 28s.
Definitely these days, yeah. 25s used to be big, didn't they? But nowadays, 28 or even 30s. I once rode a winter on 30s or 32s on a cross bike, which I'd sort of adapted for the road, transformed winter riding for me. So that was my first real modern day winter bike. So it had discs. That's why I got it. It was a beautiful Cannondale Cadex, actually. Could fit proper mud guards on there, and I felt really confident, really comfortable, and it was just a lot more enjoyable than riding my team bike at the time, which was a rim braked Canyon Ultimate aluminium with 105, and you just wear the pads so fast when you're doing like around, I think at the time, 25 hours a week roughly, and it's wet on the roads and it's hilly. You go through brake pads really fast, and that was one of the most infuriating things for me, is having to swap your pads once every 10 days roughly. So
you've been in a privileged position, right? Because you've been a pro for a very long time, where you've been riding routinely the best kit of its day throughout winter.
Yeah.
Because that's what pros tend to do.
We are.
So like, how have you found that kit has stood up when you've ridden it through winter?
You know what, on the whole, certainly with the dawn of electronic group sets and disc brakes especially now, fine. Because you feel compelled to maintain it a little bit. Like, I think you'd always look after your body first as a bike rider. That comes first. Otherwise, if you get ill, you can't train, you can't do your job. But you still look after your bike a little bit, even if it's just re-lubing it after every ride and just making sure that things are still turning. If things are turning, then generally I was okay. I wasn't the strictest in the winter, because again, I'd rather look after myself first. Things definitely wear faster, so if you had rim brakes, they would get absolutely annihilated. But with the era of discs, things don't wear as quickly. They last longer, meaning that you can probably get away with riding your better bike. You're certainly not eating through rims like you used to either. They used to go so concave so quickly.
Yeah.
In like a couple of months, and you could go through a set of rims in really heavy use.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be using carbon rims in nasty
Well, you just don't slow down at all in the wet, do you?
Yeah. But I think I too would go with disc brakes for that kind of bike. There is the disadvantage that they are incredibly noisy and squealy when they get wet. You can scare old ladies when you pull up to traffic crossings.
You definitely can. I had to apologise to someone the other day. I've got a theory on this. I actually think that bigger rotors, so going 160s on the road rather than 140s, make less noise.
Really?
I can't prove it, but it's a theory that I'm working on.
Maybe that's a video.
Ooh. Do bigger discs make less noise?
I think the other thing with disc brakes is, you've got more dependable braking in wet conditions. And like you were saying with wearing down your rims on your wheels, you're not wearing the rims, you're wearing the disc, which is much easier and cheaper to replace. Yeah. So yeah, I think disc brakes are a winner. But what do you think about the idea of, rather than looking at it as a winter bike or a bad weather bike, just get a gravel bike?
Yeah.
And then you can use it for bike packing.
In the summer when the weather's better.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's a heavier, less well-equipped bike, because it's bike packing's kind of not about performance, is it?
No, it's about enjoying the ride.
Yeah. So
quite like that idea, Ollie. I think you might be onto something there. Or a cross bike if that's more your thing as well.
Yeah.
It's just a multi-terrain vehicle.
Yeah.
I think that's a genius idea, actually.
Oh, thanks.
Get some good mud guards on there.
Yeah.
And something I use nowadays in the winter, which I never would have used before, saddlebag.
Yeah.
And a few items of luggage that you can strap on there. I think you're onto something. It's a really good idea.
Oh, I've got another one.
Okay.
Right, what do you think of this? You've got an amazing summer bike.
Yep.
Right, best day bike. And then you've got some money to spend, but you can only buy one of these two things. Either a dedicated winter bike.
Yes.
Or a really good indoor training setup with Zwift or Trainer Road or Summerfest.
That's quite a difficult thing to answer, and I think at different points in my life I would have come up with a different answer. But sat here right now, I think I'd have to go with the trainer setup.
Yeah.
And there's two reasons for that. First reason is that it's just a lot better than what it used to be. Like an indoor trainer no longer wears your tyre, and it no longer wears through your hub bearings like it used to, because you used to clamp them up really tight if you're doing sprints and things like that. You just literally strap your bike on and you pedal away, and it's good. The feeling is fairly realistic now, isn't it? Like it almost feels like riding on the road, and you can even simulate your gradient with different things, different apps and things like that. So that's one reason. The other reason is if you're gonna have a proper winter bike, you're gonna need all the clothes to go with it as well, because that means you're gonna be riding out in the wet weather. And I know what it's like getting wet and cold.
There's all the clean up as well. You have to clean your bike after every ride.
Yeah, I don't think I need that all the time.
Do you know what? I'm the same. If it was an either or, I would be like, indoor train set. And I wouldn't have said that 5 years ago. But now I'm like, 100%.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we're just getting soft in our 30s, Ollie. I've heard it's a problem for some men.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on, the one other advantage I think there is to the winter bike thing is that if you ride your heavier winter bike and then it comes to race day and you jump on your super light mega carbon bike, it feels amazing. Yeah, you feel so light and fast.
It's like a new you, new legs, fresh legs.
Yeah, that is a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But let us know what you think in the comments section down below. Do you use a dedicated winter bad weather bike, or do you just have one bike? And what do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. Hot tech now, Mavic has just released some incredibly bling new carbon shoes. Roman Bardet has a pair at the Tour Down Under. Check these out. They're called the Comet Ultimate 2s, and they replace the Comet Ultimate, and the intention is that they offer a more precise and comfortable fit over the previous version.
The updated shoes are built around a carbon shell, and they include a one-piece internal bootie, which helps make them light. Incredibly light, just 220 grams, Mavic are claiming.
That is very light. They also have an ultra low stack height, just 4.5 millimeters. So the stack height, if you're unfamiliar, is the gap between your foot and the pedal. And a lower stack height makes you feel more connected to the pedal and the bike. But also something I've found is that through doing aero testing, it inadvertently has a big impact on aerodynamics as well, because you got a lower stack height, it means your saddle can come down, which has a significant impact in how aero you are.
I never would have considered that being a thing, but it's quite interesting, They're now available in half sizes, and let's just take one more minute to appreciate how good they look, even for a black shoe.
Nice, aren't they? Pricey though, right?
Oh.
Yeah, 700 euros, Ooh. 630 pounds, or 800 Swiss francs, if that's your currency of choice.
Blimey. But half sizes, do they come in half pairs as well?
Yeah, I don't know, but come on. They look, I mean, I don't think Batman rides bikes, but if he did cycle, that'd be what he was wearing.
Found something this week, Ollie.
Yeah.
Fabian Cancellara's new BMC.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's looking good.
Yeah, Swiss cycling legend Fabian Cancellara has returned to SRAM as his component sponsor, which is pretty cool because Spartacus enjoyed many of his, most famous victories aboard SRAM equipped bikes. So it's quite good to see that partnership rekindled. And as part of it, here is his bike, right? His custom BMC time machine equipped with SRAM Red access. Look at that.
It's stunning. I mean, he's always had classy bikes, hasn't he? He's always
classy dude.
Brilliant custom designs, classy dude indeed. But this one, I think, is kind of the pinnacle of what he's always had, really.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
You know what I also found this week?
What?
Annemiek van Vleuten rainbow painted Scott Addict.
Yeah.
Look at this on your screen right now. Another custom bike, and with those discs, I think this looks absolutely stunning.
That is very nice as well.
You know what we could do?
What?
We get everyone at home to vote.
Yes.
Who is the best bike?
Yeah, which one's the best? You decide. Vote in the app.
It's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, it's the best way to get you guys involved with the show. If you've not got the app yet, don't worry. It's available on iOS and Android, and it's free. But yeah, vote in the app. You can decide who's got the best bike.
We'll announce the winner next week. Spotted some new wheels from Campagnolo this week, didn't we, Ollie?
Yeah, we do.
These are Campagnolo's WTO33s, and the WTO, if you didn't know, stands for Wind Tunnel Optimized, meaning they've been designed, despite being only 33 millimeters in profile, in depth that is, to save 7.5 watts at 45k an hour over a non-aero optimized wheel, which is quite interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, that is interesting.
If you like aero.
Yeah, well. Oh, come on. Yeah, carbon rims are tubeless ready, and they have a 19mm internal rim width, which is ideal for nice modern wide tyres. They also have these rather bling ceramic bearing equipped USB hubs. They look tasty.
Nice.
And the rim brake pair weigh just 13.95 grams.
That's pretty light, isn't it? For a semi-aero wheel as well. Yeah. Very nice. New helmet news now. Robert Knight, a neurologist and researcher from the University of California, Berkeley, has designed a new helmet which is said to improve safety.
Yeah, the design features 2 helmets in one. So you've got 2 layers that are able to move past each other and are connected via flexible struts. The idea is that this helps better deal with glancing blows to the head and is better at absorbing and dissipating energy.
It looks like a good idea. Now, Knight, who has over 40 years of experience in this sort of field, has co-founded a company called BrainGuard and created this system, which is not just available for cycling, but for other sports as well. Although crucially for cycling, it's said not to add any weight over a traditional helmet design.
Yeah, interesting. The system actually looks quite similar to the theory employed in MIPS helmets, but based on the video we've seen, it looks like this design has more travel between the 2 layers, but that is pure speculation on my part from just watching the video. But one thing that is for sure is that any advancements in helmet safety totally welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Yeah. And especially the way they're doing it now in different directions. You know, they're not just looking at a helmet as in trying to prevent a sort of one-sided impact.
Yeah.
It's talking about rotation and all sorts of different things as well. Oh, we've got another update from John Cannings, who's been at the Tour Down Under.
Well, check me out. Here I am in Adelaide, South Australia, Victoria Square for the Santos Tour Down Under. Absolutely loving it here. The weather isn't bad, so I've brought my hat to scare off any sun rays and also any wayward flies that come a looking. But this has to be the cycling haven, the hub for everyone who's into bike racing in Australia. When people are coming up to me, I'm saying, where are you from? And they're telling me the distance. Thousands and thousands of kilometres they travel so they can come here and see the world's best and also spend some of their spare change at the expo which is going on. I've brought my wallet with me, so I could be going back with some extra luggage, but when I come back to the office I'll be able to share all of my tales. In the meanwhile, just check out this montage of what's going on here and I'll see you soon.
It's now time for screw riding upgrades by upgrades, where you submit evidence of the upgrades that you've made to your bikes or equipment for a chance to win the ultimate prize, the GCN Cab.
Oh, time now for last week's results, and we've got to be honest, haven't we, Ollie? Whoever went up against the Kona, they were just up against it, weren't they? It was a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
Last week's winner was indeed the Kona of AJ with a whopping 81% of the vote.
Yes, that was a great one, I have to say. It is one of the best we've seen, I think.
It really was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, the hybrid cross conversion was also good.
It was brilliant. There's more repurposing this week, actually.
Yeah.
Now, first up, we have Eric Hoyman's bike. Well, it's actually not his bike, it's his son's bike. So his son, who is 10 years old, Selton, wanted a cross bike to go off-road with his friends, but it had to have drop bars because, you know, Daddy's bike does as well. So we made it into a father-son project, bought an old Cannondale mountain bike, stripped it, painted it, rebuilt it to a perfect adventure cross gravel road bike. And he's over the moon. And look, this is how it started out life. Cannondale F26, little bit of sanding, little bit of scrubbing.
Nice hoodie.
Nice hoodie. And there he is. There is Selton with his new Cannondale Do-It-All bike. That looks mega.
That looks incredible. I mean, I think as well, like, I always like seeing any kind of upcycling, right? And that, you know, it's always good. But that, and it's great to see he's clearly happy with it, and he should be, because that is a really good looking bike.
Yeah,
that
it really
is mega,
is.
Isn't it?
It started out as a really good looking bike as well, and the fact you've managed to make it look just as good as a completely repurposed Do-It-All bike is just genius.
Cool.
It's a nice shape, that bike.
I am a big fan of that. I love what they've done. That's great. I like the colours as well.
Yeah, subtle changes.
You picked the colours.
I wonder how you did it so neatly as well, because it looks like a factory bike, doesn't it?
Well, it's not going to be plain sailing. No. It's not a one-horse race this week because we've got a stunner from Daniel Mills. This is his Peugeot, right? So he's got this old unloved Peugeot steel frame, got it off eBay, right? And he sanded all the old paint and rust off it, okay? And then he repainted it in British racing green.
Which he said was a weird choice for the Peugeot, but I did a little look.
It's trolling, I like it.
Well,
it's trolling the French.
I had a little look on the internet and I found a Peugeot 205 GTI in Sorrento green, which is not a million miles off British racing green. And that thing looked unbelievable if you're into your 1980s, 90s cars.
Yeah, well, they are cool, aren't they? Good hot hatches. They sort of invented the hot hatch.
Did.
But yeah, he found a nice pair of Pista Navigator tubulars as well, fitted some Vittoria Rally tubs to those wheels, and he's running a Stronglight 2000 crankset with a fixed gear 49/16, nice ratio. Finished it off with some bullhorn bars and some Cane Creek bar end levers. Look at that. So that's the rust bucket that he got off eBay. I'd love to know how much he paid for it, but
Mustard yellow.
Probably not much. And I mean, look at that. What a cracking job.
It really just sets it off, doesn't it? The red, the yellow, the orange, and the white decals on there as well.
Yeah.
Navigator wheels look good too.
I love that. I love the orange bar tape on the handlebars. And
it somehow works, doesn't it?
That orange then like details he's put on the frame. They're really cool.
Do you feel like it needed an orangey saddle? Or would that be too much?
I think that might be too much orange. But, I mean, they're both cracking entries this week. Really good.
I'm glad that I don't have to decide.
Yeah, we don't have to decide, but you guys do. So if you want to decide, vote in the app. Or we'll put a link.
Can they vote up there still?
Yeah, go on.
It is now time for the absolute best part of the week. It's time for the Bike Vault, where you submit pictures of your bicycles and we get to rate them nice or super nice. You can send them in to us via the app. Can you?
You can, but this is Bike Vault 2.0 now. So if you disagree with our judgments in the Bike Vault, it used to be just tough cookies, but now, is that even a thing?
Tough cookies? Well, I guess the cookies that have gone off.
Well, they go soft.
Back to that again.
Anyway, if you disagree with our judgments, you can have your own say by voting in the app on all the bikes that we've had in this week's show. And as part of a new thing we're going to be doing, the bikes that are going to be in next week's Bike Vault, you can vote on them as well ahead of time before we even see them.
Ahead of time? That sounds futuristic.
Yeah.
Absolutely futuristic to me. Anyway, there's one thing missing, Ollie. What? Bring in the bell!
Right, first up, we've got Don with his, it's one of my favourite bikes of all time.
One of the best paint jobs of all time.
Colnago C50 in Mapei team colours. It's in his basement. What do you think?
Amazing saddle. Should we start with that?
I mean, that's authentic. That's like era correct, period correct saddle.
Data bar and stem, they look good. Lovely shaped bar. Good height on your levers there, I like that. Paint job, phenomenal, nice set of wheels.
Cranks in the right position.
There's one problem, Ollie, isn't there?
I think there's a few problems here, Chris. Come on. I mean, those tyres, what is he doing? What is with the mismatched coloured tyres? We have standards here, Chris.
We know I don't.
He's cropped off a bit of his wheel at the back. It's not he's not in Biggie Smalls.
And do you know what music he's listening to?
This is just crimes against Bike Vault.
Aww.
That's a nice.
Nice. It's very nice. It's the tyres.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next
a
up.
Kestrel.
Yes, a Kestrel. From Ben Sallow.
Picked it up for a song. Stuck a Duros Aero seat post in it, which couldn't be saved. With a stuck Duros Aero seat post, which couldn't be saved. Can I read the rest of it?
Yeah.
That's nice. I like the bar and stem. Data finishing kit. Amazing group set. Or wish he'd kept it, which implies he doesn't have the bike anymore. But that's super nice, isn't it, Ollie? Surely.
the thing is, Chris, is last week we had all super nices, right?
What are you saying?
Look, we got standards, man. Look, I mean, that yellow bar tape, for me, that's just not working against the rest of the bike because there's no other yellow on there. But that's just the start. He's cropped the wheel off at the back. He's not in biggie smalls. Crank position's in the wrong position. I mean, that's all right because he's lined it up with the seat tube. I see sort of what he's done there, but it's a weird angle he's taking that photo at as well.
I feel like you like me got away with a lot last week, Ollie, and now you're... look at the shape of that frame, it's stunning.
The thing is though, I agree, it's a stunning bike and he's just not doing it justice.
Oh. Resubmission?
Resubmit it. You have to go buy it back from wherever you sold it to. Resubmit it.
It'd be worth it for that bike.
It would be. So,
right, okay.
Nice. Sorry.
Oh.
Next up, we've got...
Oh, and Alan. They're beautiful.
Yeah, this is from Alexeed. There you go. What do you think of that?
Finally built up the beautiful oil frame, hung it up after hanging it in my room for a year. It's one of the first carbon frame bikes and uses aluminium lugs with carbon tubes glued in.
Nice.
Campo Veloce, Shimano Dior, 1136 with a 46 tooth chain ring.
One by setup as well, quite unusual.
I like that.
He's got like these blue cables stand out quite a lot.
throughout as well.
What do you think that bar tape? It's like a camo, like a digital camo.
Well, that cork bar tape was a big thing in the 90s, Ollie.
Yeah. It's what are you thinking there?
I think it's super nice because the blue cables match the blue shadowing on the letters. So
yeah.
it's themed. I really like that. I think it looks really cool. Valves are lined up. Valves are lined up with the logos on the tyres. You've got the valve caps both at the top as well.
I think
pedals in the correct position. Nice
kind of
backdrop.
pedals almost in the correct position. Standards, Chris. I think he's scraping it. He's scraping him.
So is he getting one?
He's scraping in.
He's getting. That's made me very happy because I do like those bikes.
Next up.
Oh, look at the colour of it for a start.
Rob 5A.
It's a beautiful coloured Colnago.
Yes.
That's actually a really nice colour.
So
I'd like a car that colour.
He's got his Colnago, which is a C64, one of the nicest bikes out there.
Yeah.
Went to the factory recently and saw them being handmade in Italy.
Very nice.
It's very nice. I think that's a beautiful colour as well. And I mean, it's the full like Italian group set thing going on. But that, I mean, he's pushing us because he's cropped out the front wheel. What is going on there?
Yeah.
We've also not in biggie smalls. You know, the crankset is just oh so nearly in the correct position, but just
that's the
it's
power
just
part of the
setting
pedal
off
stroke.
OCD alarms by being just not quite at 3.
So I'm leaning in to look at the picture. I think you've done what I do a lot of, is taking a picture of the bike without pedals in it. I seem to do this a lot when it comes to doing stuff with the bikes for filming. For some reason, I always end up bringing the bike which doesn't have the pedals in it.
Yeah, he doesn't even have pedals, but he's clearly gone to the effort of having a stand.
That's a super nice Ollie, surely.
Strange. I
How
mean,
can that not be?
But it's not. I mean, there's infractions. There's infractions there, Chris. I'm going to leave it down to you.
Well, you know what's going to happen if it's left down to me. I think that's a super nice bike. I think it's a super nice picture.
If you must.
My standards are very low.
Right.
Oh, Ollie.
Yes, the
gets better.
dropped cyclist comes up next. Took a beautiful ride down to Palos Verde on the Californian coast, apparently. I have to say, Chris, as nice a bike that is, that does look like it's green screened. It looks like the bike has been superimposed onto that background.
Surely not. Our viewers never do that to us, Ollie.
They've done it in the past. They've tried to manipulate us digitally in
There
the
was a
past.
GCN inspiration which was clearly photoshopped.
Yeah,
wasn't there?
there's been
Fake skies.
There was a one with a waterfall that was clearly
Oh, really?
faked. Yeah.
The thunder and lightning one is the one that sticks in my mind.
Well, yeah, that one was bad. I think this one. Where are the shadows? That bike is casting no shadows on its background. Seriously, there's no shadow.
Maybe the sun wasn't out. It's cloudy in places.
It's daytime, Chris. The sun was out.
There's a lovely picture.
It's a nice bike.
It's a lovely bike.
And it's a beautiful background. I just think that's photoshopped.
It looks like it would have been a brilliant ride.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, as long as you didn't go off the cliff. Right, I'm sorry, that's a nice, because I
Oh, look, there's been surfing there as well.
apparently.
Apparently.
Right, let's end with this bad boy. This is from Maximilian 5330, the 5,330th Maximilian. What do you think of that, Chris?
Maybe he's born on the 30th of... No, it doesn't work, does it? This is Max, 25, from a small town near Kassel in the middle of Germany. Restored this beautiful bike and uses it on small trips in nice weather. And Ollie, you're right. It's absolutely stunning, that.
Oh, mate.
It's beautiful. It's just really, really nice.
That'd be a good one for upgrades. I bet he's put some work into that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the pictures through the progress, wouldn't it?
I love the tan sidewalls, the classic look of that. It's just spot on, isn't it? It looks absolutely brilliant. And
I still believe that there's nothing better looking on a bike than a horizontal top tube. I just think they look really classy.
They do look great. Yeah, that is doing it for me, man.
It's doing it for me. I think it's unanimous.
That's a super nice.
Use that. Should we put this one away before I do any damage? Yeah. To eardrums or anything else?
But if you do disagree with our judgments,
which is unlikely.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully.
How could they? Then you can vote in the app and have your own say, as a moment. And also you can vote for next week's bikes as well. So get voting in the app.
And don't forget to upload your pictures via the app as well. That is all we have time for this week. If you enjoyed the show, do make sure you give it a like or a thumbs up.
Yeah, and if you enjoy our content and would like to support the channel, then please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell icon. And if you'd like some cool merch, you can get it in shop.globalcyclingnetwork.
And if you haven't already done it, check out my winter bike maintenance just over there right now.
Like it topical, because we were talking about winter bikes.
See what I did there?